All right, today we talked about domain and range. So as we get a lot of vocabulary, I want us to make some connections between things that we've already learned. So domain and range can be associated with our input and our output. A lot of times we think of our x values and our y values for output, and we've also even had this other terminology of function, so f of x. Right? In science, you might have heard this as your independent variable. That's an n. And your dependent variable for your y values. But specifically what a domain is, it's the set of all possible inputs that give an actual output. And the range is going to be the set of all outputs, all possible outputs. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. Let's say I have a graph, and it starts down here. We'll go back to 1, 2, 3, we'll go up here, and we'll just end right here. So let's say my graph looks something like that. So if I want to consider all possible inputs that give an output, so this is -1, -2 on my y value. So this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. So if I consider all my possible x variables, my domain goes from -2 all the way to +2. So we could list it D for domain, and it ranges from -2, and I look at all possible values for x that sit between -2 and +2. If I want to consider the range, then I'm going to look in this direction. I'm going to consider all my possible y values. So my range, the smallest my range is down here, which is -1, and it goes all the way up to +2. So it's all my possible y values that can come out. Right? Sometimes we have a domain and range where it doesn't have a starting and ending point. For example, I could start, let's say, -1 will go to -2, but let's say it just shoots up in that direction. We might have a line, or in this case, a ray. Right? So it starts here and it keeps going up and up and up. So my domain in this case, it starts at -2, but it keeps going on forever and ever. So we might say it goes from -2, my x values go from -2, and in fact they go all the way up to infinity. All right, they keep going forever. And my range in this case, well, if you look here, it doesn't appear to be a number here, but remember the x-axis represents the 0 value for the y. So it goes from 0 all the way up again to infinity. All right. And if it went in the downward direction, we'd say -infinity. But that kind of gives you an idea, hopefully, of the difference between domain and range.